All right, this is Andrew Bukowsky with Muscle Insider, and I'm joined today by Scott Welch, and we've got Dan Kennedy from SupplementSource.ca joining us today. We're going to be covering off the new Proline Overkill Pre-Workout. How's it going, Dan?
Excellent. Thanks for having me on, guys. It's
You
been a
bet.
while since we've touched base, but I'm always here to support Muscle Insider, and I'm here to support Proline Advanced Nutrition. Great company. I'm sure
Proline
Scott's got a
Nutrition,
lot of details on these guys.
Canadian company, been around since 2013. A lot of people don't know about them, but they're actually a manufacturer based in British Columbia. They've been at it for a long time. So obviously, with any manufacturer, you're going to know that they can obviously control the quality that goes into every product. They can control the price better. So they've been around the game for a long time. A lot of industry vets that are down there. Why that's important is because you want to be able to know where your products are made. And it's really nice to be a Canadian company supporting Canadian, but to be able to know that there's no shortages of the ingredients that are there. The quality control is under their nose, so it's not some third party company that they don't know what's been put into their product. And any little that little pixie dusting that we've seen on the internet over the years, none of that stuff's happening. So Overkill, very exciting pre-workout. And when I first saw this, I liked the label. First of all, thought
Yeah.
that it looks really cool. Name is badass. Overkill,
Mhm.
and it says the ultimate pre-workout. These guys were one of the first that did the big scoop stuff. Obviously, you saw in the past the C4 Ultimate went with a bigger scoop than the regular original, and Overkill kind of hovered up in Canada with a big scoop when it just started to trend that way. And now you're looking at 24 grams of Overkill badass kick your butt in the gym stuff. So we're going to get a little bit more into that. But one of the things I really love about Proline is they don't compromise. Ray Johnson is the CEO of that company, obviously a pioneer in the Canadian distribution of supplements, worked for brands like Nutribolics and distributor True North. So Reflex, just been around the game for a long, long time. But they do only vegan fermented amino acids. And if you guys remember that Magnum bird feather campaign and the human hair that some of these amino acids come from,
Yeah.
they kind of
Yeah.
don't go that way. It's all vegan fermented on that side of it. There's no amino acid spiking that you see in any of their proteins. But because they're a manufacturer, they can keep the price fair, and it's sort of just more of an efficacious product. I know, Andrew, with your company with Bravis Training, you've had great success with some of the gainers that they did
Oh
in the
yeah.
past, like 3 ingredient gainer.
Yeah.
Would it make any sense financially? No. But when you have a CEO at the helm that just is all about quality over maybe commercial profits and things like that, you get some real badass formulas. And I really can't say enough about Proline and the ethics behind the company. So shout out to those guys for doing that. And obviously, we're going to talk further about overkill and the 24-gram overkill serving size on this breed.
I do like the larger size, Scott, because I think, well, we've seen the trend before in the past where they did go with the larger size pre-workouts and they were good. And then they kind of went to the more, I don't want to say pixie dust formula, but the small scoop formula that really heavily relied on the stims and nothing else. And now the industry is coming full circle to have the stims, but actually to have all the really good active ingredients that are going to impact your workout and your gains.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. That's the thing. It is disappointing when a brand comes out with a pre-workout that really is just all about stimulant and nothing else really to back up the advantage of taking a pre-workout other than just getting you wired to only crash halfway through your workout. But this one, it's not going to do that for you.
For sure. And there is a place for those stim workouts, but or just heavily dominant stim workout pre-workouts. But I think the industry and I think everyone's starting to realize that I'm forking out good money for a pre-workout. Let's make sure I get the best bang for my buck. If you want a stim, you can go buy caffeine at pennies, or you can get your teacrine at pennies per serving. I think it's a better option to look at these all-encompassing pre-workouts that have an incredible formulation.
I think I'm noticing too is we've got that new term now. It's called the daily driver pre-workout. Every day, if you're just going to take a pre that's kind of an economical pre, I think the C-Bum has got one with the essential pre that's just kind of an everyday. Take a scoop, get a pep in your step. It's almost like a just drinking a sugar-free Red Bull or something like that. This is
Yeah.
definitely not the daily driver pre.
Mm-mm.
This is the full-on. It's leg day, or Dan Kennedy happens to be in town and we want to show him up and try to keep up with the guy.
Yeah.
So we got to take overkill, or I'm going to see the Bukowskis over here They could push me through a workout. So I would take it on days. I wouldn't take a pre-workout like this every single day. It's so strong there that to me, I would be saving it for when you really need that pick-me-up. Or if you're trying to bring up a weak body part, say you're taking it on that day to have that great workout. Kind of like the days of the ephedrine. You used to take it on the times when you had a deadlifts that day or something, or a squat day or something like that. But to me, this is you had maybe some of the other products. I think they have a pre-workout that's a little. I think it's called Rush. I think is
Yep.
their everyday daily driver. But Overkill to me is for that ultimate workout that week that you got to have. I'm not saying you couldn't take it every day. Maybe you take a half a scoop, which is one serving on those everyday days if you want to make it last. But to me, it would be those days when you really need to really overkill that workout. That's when I would definitely recommend people consider.
I'd agree with that for sure, Scott.
So looking, when it comes to pre-workouts, let's go around the room. But what do you look for? You get some of the crowd that says, "Hey, I want it all about pump." You get some other ones that say, "I want it to be about strength." So make sure I can have some creatine in there. And all some of those people say, "I don't want creatine in my pre. I take that on my own." But each of us, let's go through it. Dan, starting with you, what do you look for in the athletes that you coach, and then what you recommend? Obviously, at SupplementSource.ca. What do you see that you should have as your must-haves in a pre-workout?
Well, in my younger years, it's certainly go with the stim type of products. But now that I'm a bit older, my workouts are a little bit later at night. I prefer those pump focused products. So you do want your obviously caffeine's going to be in every pre-workout, unless you got a stim-free one. Caffeine's definitely got to be in there for my clients. And if I'm recommending a pre-workout, caffeine for 100% for sure. You're looking at things like I do like agmatine. I like that product. What else is there? Citrulline, very, very common in pre-workouts. I like that. And if you can get creatine, you can, but it's not like one of those ones that's a deal breaker because everyone's got creatine on the side that they're taking. So do you really need it? Probably not. And I like beta alanine. I've always liked that product. You get the tingles from it, but some guys don't like it. I've always liked it. I found my strength and my higher rep ranges really improved when I'm on beta alanine. So definitely those ingredients for sure.
You, Andrew?
I'd be pretty much along very similar lines with that. Again, getting up in age there myself as well. I'm not as much of a stimulant junkie as I used to be in my earlier days. So I like more blood flow, that pump, even a little bit more focus style workout. But needless to say, like a good stimulant per workout. If you're talking about overkill, there are some of those days where most of us have days that you're not feeling it and you still just got to get it done. I think that's where I'd be looking for an overkill is those days that I'm sort of dragging myself to the gym, but this is going to definitely get me through and give me that pickup that I need to get the job done.
Yeah, I think you made a good point there too. One thing I forgot to mention was basically what we're seeing now, and I'm sure Scott would agree, is there a lot of these companies are throwing in the focus type formula complex in there, and I think that's another added bonus. I think that's where the industry is going, and when you can get that focus without the stim, I think it's a plus.
Yeah.
Scott, what are you using now for
You
pre-workouts,
know
or
what?
what do you
You're
prefer?
exactly right. And something that Ray Johnson, the CEO of Proline Nutrition, sort of said to me is, we want stimulants to be in there, but we also want the brain to be stimulated
Yeah.
too. We want
Mhm.
to see that mental focus because you know yourself, and you're buried into concentration curls, and you're trying to grind at those last few reps. If you just take your mind off that rep for even a few seconds, you've lost that
Yeah,
rep,
Yeah.
and you hit the
yeah,
sticking point. Bottom of a squat, exact same thing. A lot of that is just that mental focus and those counts you do in your head and the tricks you do to force your body to be able to get more reps. If you're a runner and you sort of get in those final laps, and it's you really just telling your muscles push, 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 push. And without that, I think that that's really where sets are lost, matches are lost. So mental focus is definitely very, very popular. Obviously, citrulline is the base of all formulas now. Whether you go the citrulline malate, like the way that this company did, or you go freeform citrulline, at the end of the day, it's going to get cleaved off, and you're going to have citrulline as the main driver of that. In this case, the malate molecule will go into the Krebs cycle for malic acid and obviously help regenerate ATP and produce energy through your body. And obviously, caffeine is really just key. Without that, you're really wasting your time in terms of having to get more energy specifically in that in your workout. I also like it because you're getting to reduce your appetite too. A lot of people who are dieting, they're on low calories already. So by having a stimulant like caffeine, you're helping to increase your output of energy when you're training, but you also have the ability to, I think it's liberating free fatty acids into the mitochondria so that you're able to get more ATP production, helps you cut your hunger. There's a lot of different benefits to that. But no, the other one that they did here is kind of unique is they have synephrine in
Mm-hmm.
here and combining that with caffeine as well as dendrobium.
Yeah.
So they have another stim there that's really cool that they've added these together. The one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that in Health Canada, this is where the regulations on dietary supplements are some of the strictest in the world. You have
Yeah.
Canada, Australia, the UK. Those are the most strict of any countries in the world. And in Canada, you can't just put stuff into a product in pixie dust amounts. You have to prove to the Canadian government that there's a reason for this ingredient to be in here. And that not only is it there, and these are the claims that you can back with a clinical, but when they're all together, this is going to be safe. And this
Yeah.
is where a lot of times in the US, I've worked for a lot of over 50 different brands now. Companies just get an Excel spreadsheet and they copy and paste and they one up each other. And they don't realize that there might be negative side effects now
Yeah.
that come when you add this to this to this to this to this. Or there could be clumping that happens.
Mm-hmm.
You have things that are high clumping, like glycerol. It's quite popular. Glycerol stearate, it causes clumping. Citrulline will cause clumping. Betaine will cause clumping.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that the totality of the formula is put together. If you put a recipe for a cake together and you don't put them in the right order into the cake, you don't have the same outcome of the cake. I mean, that's the way it works. When your pre-workout hardens up, it's not just because you left the lid on for 30 more seconds than you could have, or you had it in the back of your car or heated up. Sometimes the problem is based on the formula. The people who put it together may be great at copy pasting into an Excel document of what looks impressive on a label, but now when it's put into practice and then it's put into a bottle, it clumps up. So fortunately with Proline, they've been around since obviously 15, 20 years now doing this, and the execs that have been there have been in the game forever. So they kind of know these are the doses that you should be having in the product. And we've seen similar products to this with Jim McMahon over at Fit Foods, and he's just been formulating for so long. A lot of these veterans, they just know you add this to that, this to offset this. And so it's not just theoretical pre-workouts. It's actually this pre-workout is going to be stable on the store shelf. And I think that with the business that you're in, Dan, where everything is about service for SupplementSource.ca and speed and value, but you don't want to get returns. If you got a Black Friday sale and everyone's pushing, and then you get all these returns, and it's you ends up having to explain it. The consumer doesn't go and find out who in the lab was it that thought of this idea. So I think sometimes that if I'm a retailer, I'm happy that a company has thought this through, because I know I'm not going to get stuck with product on my store shelf that's hard as a brick. And do that due diligence. Grab a product like this before you buy it and squeeze it and feel,
Yeah.
is it already cement before I even buy it? Because a lot of times, and you won't get that with Proline products. But yeah,
I haven't seen it. Yeah, I haven't seen that at all, Scott, from Proline, and we've been carrying them for a number of years. We always have a home for clumpy products. Don't get me wrong, and we'll blow them out. But I've never seen one from Proline. You know, Gray's doing something right over there.
So let's go over to the specs here. Obviously, Dan, the man, take it on.
Sure. So right now, Proline Advanced Nutrition, they're offering 4 flavors. That's what Overkill comes in. I don't have them memorized, so let's kind of through them together. We've got raspberry lemonade. We've got black cherry, black cherry lime. I think that's going to be one of my faves. Peach mango, very standard flavor. And then obviously this got to be, electric punch. So probably a fruit punch option there if you like that kind of stuff. You mentioned the scoop size before. They basically go into 2 different types of serving sizes, a half scoop or a full scoop. Personally, myself, if I get into the half scoop zone, I'm weighing mine out on a food scale. I know it sounds like kind of crazy, but that's what I do just to ensure that you're getting everything. Because really, let's face it, if you're getting one of those in the past, you would get those pre-workouts that were like really highly concentrated, just stim based, and they would say, 3.2 grams is one serving, and then they would give you a 5 gram scoop because
Yeah.
no one makes a 3.2 gram scoop, right? So you got to kind of watch for that kind of stuff. But that being said, I don't think you're going to go wrong with this because each scoop is just over 11 grams, half a scoop serving. And so your full scoop serving is going to be, you're looking at 22, 23 grams. That's going to equate to about 20 or 40 servings per bottle. Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. Like, what do you think? What do you guys think? Do you guys see that a lot with that double, the 20-40 type of deal?
I see more and more brands doing that, the half
Yeah,
scoop or full scoop, or they'll go with a small scoop size and then just say a 1 or 2 scoop serving. I think it's a smart way of doing it, just based on what the end consumer is looking for. How much of an
for
effective
sure.
dose are you looking for?
100%. And what I like about that, the reason why they put the 20 and the 40 in there is because you got to assess your tolerance on these pre-workouts before you get them going. Because some people, they're sensitive to caffeine or they're very sensitive to whatever that's in the bottle. So it's always a good option to have that half scoop, but at least you know the macros and everything. You don't got to sit there and divide everything by 2 and you scoop to figure out what you're getting. It's right there on the label for you.
Yeah.
The other thing about it is got to be looking at is unique to Canada is there's upper level limits that you can
Hmm.
Yeah,
have that Health Canada says. Okay, so if it's 200 milligrams of caffeine that is in one serving, Canadian companies have to factor that in. And so I definitely feel like there's some things here. For me, I'm a full scoop person because when I take a pre-workout, I want to have the full experience that the formulator intended. I don't ever want to compromise on that side of it. Fortunately, being hooked up with Muscle Insider and Supplement Source, we get the luxury of being able to, try a lot of these products out. But for me, I think that the other thing that I'm a real stickler on is I actually have multiple measuring cups
Hmm.
that are fine so that I can get exactly what it says. A lot of times, consumers, they just look at it, they have their shaker cup, they dump the water in, they eyeball it about this way, about halfway through, and then they wonder, well, why does it taste so bad, or why does it taste too watery? Or sometimes in the case of protein, they mix it too thick because they kind of look at it as just chunk. They just put it in and they keep the 8 ounces of the water that's kind of around there, and then they just put a couple scoops, and then they don't level off the scoop, and
Yeah.
then they affect what's called the osmolality. So it's basically the concentration, the density of the liquid. So some shakes are thicker than others. So that can cause diarrhea and things like that, especially when you're using gainers or protein powder. By putting too much protein per milliliter of water, you can affect the ability for the bowels to really form the solid.
yeah,
I won't go there, but so let's just always at home, anytime you're mixing these pre workouts, look at the label, read the fine print, see exactly what the amount was so that you can really assess the taste of it and get the full effects. I often like to also take a pre workout for the first time on an empty stomach because I don't want
Hmm.
to slow it down. I want to hit it all. I want to feel it all in its full effect to really assess it because sometimes you can have it when you eat lunch or dinner and it's sitting in a bunch of food. If you can imagine, if you ate a sub or something like this, all that bread's going to sit there. It's going to soak into that, and then it's going to time release as it gets digested in your body. On an empty stomach, it's going to hit you faster than any other time that you could take it. And then you could truly see what does this product feel like, and also don't nurse it. Don't
Yeah.
slowly sip it. It's like drinking a beer over a half an hour. You're not going to get anything off that. To really feel it, you want this to be consumed, down it, chug it all, get it in so that the super physiological levels of all those actives will go into the blood, and then you're feeling the effects of that in that workout in the next 20 or 30 minutes when you start training. Sometimes I see guys go to the gym and they're standing at the gym and they're mixing up their pre-workout, and then five
yeah.
minutes later they're doing a set and they're wondering why it doesn't work or when is it going to hit, and then when they're on their way home they're wired, but the time to get wired is walking into the gym. So you kind of have to back your macros up a little bit and your timing so that you can try to get that to hit when you're about to train rather than midway through your.
Well,
Now we're going to talk about the price of this thing. I mean, obviously, this is a granddaddy product. This is full scoop, full serving, but it's from a manufacturer. So you kind of get price breaks there because they control, obviously, the manufacturing of this product. They sell it themselves. They don't use distributors. So that's able to get them a great product at a great price. But how are we looking at, Dan the man? How are we looking at for the price on this thing? Because I know I see your chicken reports that you do online with your clients. I see all these cost-saving ways. SupplementSource.ca is obviously known for having the lowest cost, best deals in Canada. So how are we looking at with Overkill on the price side?
Yeah, so right now, I think the suggested retail price is around 54.95, 59.95. We have it somewhere in there as a regular price. We have it on sale right now, leading up to Black Friday, for 39.99.
Shit.
So 40 servings, you're looking at
What's
about
up,
$1.
Ray? You got it that price that low?
Yeah, it's just basically about $1 a serving on sale right now. But who knows? It may go on a better price on Black Friday. I don't know. You never know. You'll have to check out the website. But right now, $39.99 is a phenomenal price, especially when you look at some of the higher end pre-workouts. They're definitely up around the 54 price range, in this kind of like where this would fit in for a category. Definitely not pixie dust, stuff like that. So.
No, I mean, for what you're getting, even that regular price is still, I think,
Oh
super
no,
affordable.
for
But
sure it's a good price. Yeah. $60.
for you guys throwing it
Yeah,
in at $39.99 right now, that's
yeah,
unbelievable.
39.
Better
Yeah,
stock up.
yeah. So
Okay,
yeah,
so
and
now,
it's moving well for us too, which is nice.
Yeah.
now I'm not one of those guys. Obviously, I am on occasions when it comes to a daily driver. I like one that'll taste good. And you see these amazing flavors that like Rise has done and Ghost has done, and some of the other companies out there where they've really focused on flavor. I mean, Beyond Yourself and Batch 27. There's so many of these companies that have come up with really good flavor tasting things. Well, I want to put this full scoop serving to the test. 24
Okay.
grams of bass. I want to taste it to see, is this tasting as good as some of the other products that I see on the market? We're going to find out right now.
So I
Let's
know,
do it.
like, we used to have well, we still have, but the leucine they had in raspberry lemonade.
Oh,
It's
that's
phenomenal.
right. They got a standalone.
They also
Leucine
had
flavor.
the peach mango flavor. So big fan of both of those. So I'm curious to see in a full dose pre-workout how these flavor profiles play out. So
Yeah, let's do it. I'm ready.
Okay.
all right, so I'm gonna mix up first. I've got the black cherry lime here. This is what I'm looking forward to.
Well, since
I'm
I
gonna
did that
do
punch action when Dan said the flavor, I want to get the raspberry. Sorry, it's the electric punch.
is that what you're gonna try the punch? Okay, I'm gonna do the
I'm
peach
getting the
mango.
electric punch because I sort of did the punch action with the camera. I want to be able to say that's the one that I'm going for.
Yeah, I'm gonna try the peach mango here. Let's get this. Oh my God, I can smell it. Anyways, that's for sure. Very strong peach smell. So that's a good indicator.
This is like, okay, we're talking full scoop, and I don't know,
I'm only doing half.
Mr. Cameraman, if you can kind of see next to my bald head, this thing, if I put it close enough, it'd be bigger than my head. But no, this is
Yeah,
a freaking massive scoop. This is like a
big scoop.
protein powder scoop.
That's right.
This is what I like, though. This is good.
Yeah.
Smells
Remember the
good.
day when they had those weight gainers and you were getting like a laundry scoop?
That's right.
That's
Oh my
right.
God.
That's right. Bring me back to the Champion Nutrition Heavyweight Gainer 900. Okay.
All right, so I'm ready to go. I'm gonna give this black cherry lime a run for its money. Smells good. Sorry, I guess we're doing.
Not bad.
Shout out to these badass shaker cups. Look at these things.
What do you guys got?
The Muscle Insider
Muscle-
Shaker Cup,
Man, I
Dan.
don't
You
even
gotta
have
get
a
that on the
Muscle Insider.
website.
I'm doing a supplement source.
Okay, you got one good one there. We got to do tradesies here.
I know. It's not bad actually. I wouldn't say it's like a killer flavor, but it's good. You know what I mean? Like, because I don't like the overpowering ones. For myself, I find when you look like those energy drinks from Ghost, they're good, but I just find the flavor is just too strong for me. And I find this is not bad. This is good.
I find I'm quite surprised in a good way that
Yeah.
I was thinking for a full dose formula like this is in that monster scoop, flavor might not be quite where you'd want it to be, but this is something I could handle on a regular basis. You know, because that's the other thing I find with some pre-workouts, even just flavor alone. You do it for the work, the effect, but you choke down in the flavor. But this one, I enjoy it. I like it.
I gotta
That
say,
sounds like
shout out to Grace Bukowsky on these goblets. This is like doing pre-workouts in style.
That's right.
Bar at their house. This is right out of that bar, I bet. Look at that. This is nice. Because this is electric punch. Okay, let's see it here. Strong.
Yeah.
It's good though. Kind of like almost like a pink fruit punch. Not like a tropical fruit punch.
Yeah.
More like a pink fruit punch. Good, nice color. The other thing too is when you look at the you'll see things like the beetroot. You'll see that in other ingredients sometimes. The reason for that is actually that's your natural coloring.
flavoring or the coloring.
They'll use artificial coloring, and you're seeing more and more brands now where they're clear. I think Allmax are one of the first that really started to do that with the white grape and things like that. They did with Impact Igniter. But by having that clear color, and you see it with Bang Energy, they were the first, I think, in the energy drink market for RTDs to go clear. But consumers don't want those dyes and artificial colors as much as they used to. And so I think that they've done natural coloring in this as well, which is nice. I mean, all the other damage that we're doing on our liver sometimes, it's a good time we kind of offset that with greens products and no dyes. So no artificial dyes.
Well, product plug here. Did you know that Proline has a great liver support supplement?
I don't know if I brought it up. Oh, hold on.
I take that on a regular basis.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. That's they have a pretty good line actually. Like one that does really well for us is their True Greens.
Oh, nice.
That's a good one. Yeah. It's definitely a line to check out if you guys haven't heard of it before. You know, everyone that's listening today, if they haven't heard of it, check it out. I'm sure you're going to find something you like. If not, give Overkill a try because yeah, I'm going to go work out back later and I'm going to tear it apart. That's for sure.
Well, and you mentioned the True Greens. That was the True Greens Sport, and I found that one they've really amped up the flavor on that. Because I know that the True Greens was always a great formula for a greens product.
Yeah.
But in reality, the flavor wasn't quite there. And I know for me, a lot of times clients, that's a big sticking factor. Like just being consistent with taking greens is flavor. But the Sport Greens or True Green Sport, they've really nailed flavoring on that one. So
it's a sidebar, but Proline has a sister company called Allura Naturals.
Yeah.
It's been around for a long time, and they really specialize in greens products and detox products and just that whole natural space. So when I heard that they were going to do a greens, I was really impressed because I knew that the greens that they had on Allura, they sent me a bottle of this a few years ago, and it was awesome. The formula was good. But no, this is great. I mean, for those at home that have not obviously heard of Proline, one of the things you've got to look at is sometimes the most innovative formulas come from the smaller companies because they kind of have a better mousetrap. You know, they don't have all the dollars for expensive steroided up competitors and influencers. They don't have a robust marketing budget. So sometimes they put it into the product rather than put it into the marketing and the advertising. And when you're a manufacturer yourself, you got to be careful because Health Canada is always inspecting your manufacturing facility. So for Proline, they can't afford to take the risks that other companies might do by outsourcing to US manufacturers or other foreign manufacturers because they have Health Canada up their ass just inspecting everything that's there. So things have got to be by the book. So I kind of like that because it forces them to be ethical. And if I could say any one strike against Proline CEO Greg Johnson is the guy is just so by the book and he won't put his name to stuff that doesn't do what it says, that doesn't meet label claim. And I think that that's great because today consumers want accountability. You as a retailer, you want to know that when you pick up the phone, there's someone at the other end who's going to stand behind the quality that's in this product. And I think that for Proline, what I like about it is as a consumer, I want to know that this product has been well thought out, that it meets label claim. And I want to just know that what's on the labels in the product. And that's really hard to know that guarantee is there. But if I know Health Canada that's inspecting these facilities to make sure they're up to code, they're sanitized, the right steps in manufacturing are there, I know that I'm not going to get sick if I consume one of the products because there's been accountability that I don't know for sure what came in from the U.S. and then ends up in my my cupboard. But for Proline, smaller brand, but with my dollars are going into the product, which is what I really want to do as an advanced supplement consumer.
Yeah.
And its formula for Overkill, it's a transparent formula for those that don't know what that is everything is kind of listed out. You won't be able to see it here, but everything is listed out, every single ingredient. Nothing is kind of hidden behind a complex, where the complex has got 5,000 milligrams, and then they just list a bunch of ingredients. So you don't really know how much of each ingredient you're getting. And, that's one good thing about Proline is they list every ingredient, the exact amounts. So you can, you know exactly what you're getting. And you can compare it to studies and whatnot. To say, hey, how much beta alanine should I have to get an effect? Then you can compare it to what's on the label here. You're not guessing because it's in a complex.
100%.
This case of beta alanine is funny you say that. They got the 3.2 grams. That's a standard dose that's been shown to obviously help buffer lactic acid, help increase stamina. That's here. There's been studies that they've done on 6.4 grams. There's even been studies on it at 12.8 grams.
Yeah.
That would make you itch. But it's something that they've got the standard doses typical in there. One of the things that you got to watch at home, if you're not getting that itch, you got to wonder if the product is dosed correctly. If they're putting on the label and what's in the product is on the label, because obviously that beta alanine at that dose causes that response, that parathesis. So it kind of that itchy feeling in your face.
I've got it up here already.
Of the niacin flush back in the day.
Yeah.
So you kind of want that. Citrulline dose is at 7 grams. So it's a citrulline malate molecule attached to the citrulline. That's a really good dose that's there. And what's kind of cool is that we saw that 6 gram dose that kind of was a trend. Used to be 4, then it went to 6. These guys beat it by going to 7. Next to, I think, Red X Labs in Canada were the first brand that I ever saw that went really, really high dose of citrulline in Canada. These guys were right up there. They surpassed that 6 gram threshold first. But they never get credit for it because they're a smaller company. They don't have the $1 million ad campaigns that are out there. But those who know.
But that's also got to be. They can do that because being a manufacturer as well. Because citrulline is not a cheap ingredient either, right? So I think that's a big contributing factor why a lot of brands don't get up on a higher threshold of citrulline. Just the cost factor, then being able to sell that at a reasonable price just wouldn't work. Where as a manufacturer, they have a lot of those cost savings along the line that they can afford to put in that extra dosing of citrulline there to give you the most effect.
Yeah. There's a lot of brands that manufacture their own product that are just dominant. You look at Optimum Nutrition, you look at AT Lab in Quebec. They're a very strong brand, very good quality stuff that's there. Mutant, they obviously manufacture many of their own products, most of all their powders. When you can get that manufacturing there, it's just a real devastating combination because you can see the cost savings and they can actually put in the product higher doses than companies who are paying third-party companies to do it. So I definitely raise a glass on this one. The obviously taurine dose is 3 grams per scoop. Taurine's going to be good for hydration, going to be good for preventing muscle cramps. Also some stuff, there's some research that shows that it helps with insulin as an insulin potentiator, can actually increase insulin output. So there's been studies on that in combination with creatine has been shown to be better than just taking creatine by itself. Glycine, seeing that in a lot of sleep products recently, high doses of glycine, that they put this amino acid into it. One of the things that helps that it helps with is helping to relax your body so that you're not, totally wired up and not able to sort of come down and focus on the set. So they've added that in there. It's also been shown to help increase collagen synthesis. So if you want to get nice, young, beautiful skin, like my friend over here, Andrew, then you want to load up on the glycine. So that's definitely one of the things that is there. Dan, talk about agmatine sulfate because they got 1 gram of that per scoop.
Yeah, it's just one of those pump products that it's relatively, I don't want to say new, but it's there. It's available. It's going to enhance nitric oxide, so you're going to get a better pump in the gym. I think it's a go-to product for my pre-workouts.
Maritime pine extract. I think that's the same as French marine pine bark. I think that increases blood flow and circulation. You see it in a lot of products for older people that help increase blood flow in extremities. So by adding that to a pre-workout, you're going to help enhance the pump. That's going to work with the citrulline, work with the agmatine to help increase blood flow.
I never seen that one before.
That's right, exactly.
I never seen that one before until I looked at the formula for Overkill. Is that like Pycnogenol?
Yeah, exactly. Pycnogenol is, I think, a branded version of.
Branded version of? Okay. All right, then I know what it is then. Yeah. Okay, cool.
And then caffeine, 400 mgs, which is great.
For full scoop, yeah.
And then they've got the DMAE, so that's 400 milligrams of that. That's obviously going to help prevent relaxation, very similar to the glycine that we saw earlier. So you're going to see that obviously have a synergistic effect. Huperzine A, great for my mental focus and clarity. Not sure if you guys want to add anything to that. Inhibits acetylcholine esterase. So I think that helps the body obviously with mental clarity and focus.
I mean, that just kind of goes back to what we were talking about before, is like, I know all three of us were talking about it, and I think more and more consumers are looking for that focus in their workouts alone, but in a pre-workout. So having a huperzine in there is going to really help benefit. And even just jumping back to caffeine, we were talking about how the formula is great. It's not relying just on stims, but 400 milligrams in a full dose is not a little flash in the pan. So it's going to give you that boost that you're looking for.
And what's wild too is all these type of nootropic type of ingredients that kind of enhance cognitive function. We're seeing it in the pre-workouts coming up, but it was a huge category in the States. We did not see that all in Canada. Like there were some guys that tried to make those gamer products, more cognitive focus and stuff like that for gaming. And every one of them has been a flop in Canada that I've seen. Now in the States, totally different story. But what we're seeing now is these cognitive type of ingredients are coming into the pre-workouts, and they're hitting, it's a home run every time for the pre-workouts.
That's right. I was talking to Jack Owak, the founder of Bang, last weekend about exactly what you're talking about. And really, it's just once you have enough energy drinks and pre-workouts that are all about stims and people are stimmed up, if you can also kind of have that mental cognition on top of just the high that you kind of get from a caffeine, you can now think better and you can actually perform better. So the caffeine is obviously going to affect your central nervous system, your muscle contractions and things like that. But if you can also enhance your mental clarity and focus while you're getting the stims at the same time, the key is just going to be having a well thought out formula that's not just one-upping. I'll add a little bit more of this and a little bit more of that. Yeah. Sean Wells talked about that, is that there's a certain balance where nootropics in the wrong ratios to one another can actually cause a decrease in mental focus, which I really thought about that. And he was explaining that there's a certain ratio of huperzine to some of the other nootropics that just doubling that up doesn't actually result in you being twice as alert. It can actually cause the opposite effect, which that's where you want to work with a company that is understanding this and is putting together a proper formula rather than just doing more than the company beside them. One of the other ingredients in here you don't see that often is the dendrobium. The first time I saw that was, I think it was Crash. I think it was the name of the pre-workout was Crash. And that was this dendrobium, which was a stimulant that was in behind that pre-workout when that hit. So you see some of this in here, 600 milligrams in a full scoop. So this is obviously going to give people more energy. I think Nutribolics just recently had a new pre-workout that they have that ingredient in it as well. You see it a little bit more in Canadian companies that have added that. So definitely another stimulant that is pretty rare. And
Seems to be
Synapse,
making a comeback.
yeah, it seems to be. You're totally
They
right.
did
Yeah.
have that before when, when ephedrine basically got kind of pulled from the States. I know we were selling dendrobium sort of as a ephedrine substitute, you could say, when we
Yeah.
stopped selling it, and the Americans were buying it by the boatloads, right? So, and then it kind of died off, and now it's kind of making a comeback.
Yeah. And then the synephrine, you'll see it labeled as bitter orange. You'll see bitter melon extract. You see it just as synephrine. There's a few
Yeah.
different names that it goes under, but this is 166 milligrams per full scoop. I love that, 166. So it's not like 160, it's 166. So it's there, 30% synephrine for that. So that's going to help with increasing thermogenesis, fat burning support. Anything like that is going to help obviously get you better workouts, going to give you some more energy on that. And then they have the B vitamins, so B3, B6, B12. They're going to be involved in energy, ATP production,
Yeah.
obviously red blood cell formation, things like that. They're water soluble, so you can never really, I mean, you just pee out the excess that you don't have. So I love to see the B complex is there. So well thought out formula. But now turning it over, each of us take your time, give your final thoughts, obviously, on Overkill.
Well,
My face is
I'll take
tingling.
a shot first. I'm impressed. Looking at the label first, just with the breakdown of the formula, that it was a solid, well thought out formulation. The full dosing of the ingredients is key, with lots of active ingredients. So for me, I was impressed with that. But what even put it over the top was just, I was impressed with the flavor profile. Because like I said, coming into it, I wasn't sure how it was going to be. I know Proline has traditionally been one of the brands that does do a good job with their flavoring, but with so many active ingredients, I didn't know that they could still hold up to that flavoring in this product. But from what we tasted, I was really impressed.
Yeah, I'm not a flavor junkie, but Gray does it right with his formula, so he's checked that box. I like the stimma. Well, I like the fact that everything out is laid out, so there's nothing kind of hidden. They check that box. I prefer the larger, scoop, kind of where the industry's going, that larger size scoop for a pre-workout. So that box is checked. But really the proof is in the pudding, to be quite honest. I can't give 100% commitment and say this is the product you want, because I haven't used it prior to going to the gym. But I will kind of double up, or I won't double up, but I'll double up in the sense that I took a scoop now, but I'll take a scoop when I'm leaving work here. And as soon as I get home, I'm going to hit the gym. And then I'll really kind of know how good it is. But I'll tell you right now, like you mentioned earlier, Scott, there's some products with the beta alanine, and you don't really feel them that much. I'm very sensitive to beta alanine. I like it. My lips go, or my tongue and lips go a little bit numb. I can feel it in my face, so I know that it's actually working. So, right now, thumbs up. But like I said, I want to hit the gym first, and then I'll truly know if it's a pre-workout that I'm going to be recommending to all my clients, and certainly focus at Supplement Source.
Yeah. I mean, I'm nothing more to add to this. Formula is solid. The reputation of the company is solid.
Yeah.
The fact that they stand behind their product with their own manufacturing and controlling the supply chain, to me, that speaks volumes to what they do. And I think, people that want to know more about them, check them out at ProlineNutrition.ca. But going back to it, SupplementSource.ca, I can't say enough about what you guys do. The amount of selection that you have on your website, you guys always have such incredible selection. You guys are early at picking up the newest stuff. You're constantly finding the newest flavors, the newest sizes. I just saw caffeine tablets that you just sent me from XP Labs, like you're always getting these things first. And I think that that's what really makes consumers be able to go to your site and see, not only am I going to get great value, because you're always got blowouts, You got the newest products that are always there, and you're always trying to pass on savings to consumers. So when I saw protein prices that were coming, they were going to increase, you right away were like telling your fans, email blast, look, prices are going up. We're trying to save you money. We're trying to save you money. And I think that's why Supplement Source has just been, they were one of the first supporters of Muscle Insider. 2010 Arnold Classic, when we had our magazines, we gave out close to 40,000 copies, 39,200 copies. The last 800 copies went to Supplement Source, came by our booth. We gave them 800 copies, which you included in your orders of our with our magazine. And I think that that's really why, when a lot of other websites have come and gone for e-commerce and they've got crushed by, obviously Amazon and places like that, you guys continue to find your space and continue to just churn along, churn along, churn along. I know that I brought things for my family, like I buy products there. I get the downloaded creatine guide, downloadable whey protein guides. You guys are always giving those extras. And I think that's what makes SupplementSource.ca a great place to shop. The other thing that I love is you guys always throw in the freebies. Like anytime you have extras, you open your box and it's like Christmas. You kind of get these, oh, look, I got a sample of this, I got a sample of that, because it's really just always, caring about that consumer. And I think, Dan, given your background as a competitive bodybuilder, being in the supplement industry for so long, you know that you want to go to a place where you don't get ripped off, you get great selection, great support. You can track your orders immediately. I'm amazed that I can track the orders of anything that I buy right to the door where it's at. And you're always able to know that you're getting the best possible price whenever you shop at SupplementSource.ca. So I can't really say enough about what you guys do for the industry.
Yeah, you really hit on the head. Like the sample thing, that's I don't want to say it's a thing of the past, but the samples are so hard to get right now. We really got hit hard with COVID. Everyone focused all their well, it was hard. Raw materials were hard to get, so they focused them all on the products. You couldn't get samples anywhere. I don't know anyone else that actually buys samples, and we buy samples for our customers. So, like that's where we got the BioSteel that's going out now, the Rejuvenate. We bought all those for our customers. Like they weren't given to us. So I don't know anyone else that is doing that. So, when we have them, we give them out 100%. When we get a deal, we pass the deal on to our customers. We don't try to keep that. We don't work on margins. We kind of, it's different. I'd have to explain it to you. It's top secret, but we don't work on margins like a typical margin, like a store would work on a 50% margin. That's not how we do things here. So, but yeah, and we're just doing things like you hit us up Monday night on Instagram. We do an Instagram live where I do live packs and I show customers how we do things at Supplement Source. You can always see us on TikTok or on other social media like Facebook or Instagram. And you can see like we got 20 some skids in from Allmax 2 days ago, or Monday, I think we got. So, like these guys are coming to us with the deals and we're passing them on to everyone else. Like, I don't know who else is grabbing 20 skids. So,
no, that's great. I really love it. I recommend your site to so many people that I know because it's fast. You're right on the Trans-Canada Highway. You put an order in today, it will be processed today, and it's you guys who care about the order and the quality. Your staff are committed. And it's just
well, we try. I'll tell you, Scott, right now, I don't mean to cut you off, but like we're in the process of setting up our 5th packing station. So we've got 5 packers on the floor, and we've got like 3 or 4 pickers. And obviously we have part-time guys too that come in to fill the void because we don't do anything on Saturday, Sunday. So Monday's our busiest day, but we just got all the components for the 5th packing station. So the scale, our V measure, our computer, we just got to get wired up for energy over there for power. And we've got to get a camera installed there too. So, and once that's done, probably shortly after Black Friday, we'll have a 5th packing station ready. So, yeah.
And thanks so much for giving chances to companies, obviously like Proline Nutrition. They've been at it for a while. And I've been studying the category, I kind of feel like I like rooting for the smaller guys that are trying to run an honest business and give consumers a great product at a great price. But obviously, it's great to see that companies like yours will identify these brands and just give them a chance. You've done this in the past. I've seen this with Quebec. You've got like a section in your website that's just Quebec brands only. Like
Well, we want more
you-
Quebec brands.
What's that?
We want more Quebec brands. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, what's funny. We were doing a little bit with Proline and Alora, and it was there. You know, we weren't really pushing it hard. You know, they reached out to us and we did everything. Then we met Gray at the CHFA, and he won us over. Like, integrity. You know, just a good guy that, you know, this guy's putting his heart and soul into his company. He's making a good product, and we just got behind him after that. So yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Okay, well, listen, thanks for checking this out. Andrew, you want to close us off here?
You bet. I appreciate you taking the time to do this review with us today, Dan.
Sure.
And being a special guest with us. Always love having you here to throw in all the science. But be sure to check us out on all our social media channels. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to check out SupplementSource.ca for all your supplement needs. And once again, this is Andrew Bukowsky with Scott Welch, Dan Kennedy. We're signing out.
Boom.